When you get past the point of using a motor mount and have to go to a motor plate, this is a question we get a lot, asked an awful lot about, is when do I need a motor plate? Hey, today's tech tip is something that we get a lot of questions about, and that's motor mounts. Which motor mounts to use, and at what horsepower level you need to go to a solid motor mount or a motor plate. So typically the rule of thumb is if you're going to use a poly motor mount, about 400 horsepower is the max that you want, unless the car is street driven a lot and you don't want the noise and vibration of a solid motor mount. But if you're pushing over 400 horsepower, you want to go to something like this, which is our solid motor mount. We make these, they're formed out of 10/18 steel, 1/4 inch thick, laser cut, clearly marked driver and passenger, so you know which way they go. And they come with this high-tech industrial coating on them. It's a pretty good mount. We have them in both standard height and a 3/4 inch drop mount. And these will work on any small block Ford. When you get past the point of using a motor mount and have to go to a motor plate, this is a question we get a lot, asked an awful lot about, is when do I need a motor plate? And typically on a boosted application or a lot of nitrous, a power adder application, when you get to about 800 horsepower, you want to seriously consider using a motor plate and a mid plate. This is our motor plate for a small block Ford with a belt drive and a 157 tooth bell housing. Typically, this sandwiches the block. You've got a mid plate that goes in the back and a motor plate that goes on the front. And these are used in cars with 2,000–3,000 horsepower. Our motor plate and mid plate is a pretty simple design, a pretty simple installation. Comes with all the hardware and tabs. You actually weld a plate on the bottom of the frame rail, and this sets in on top of the plate, and it sets your crank center line. So if you're looking to do a motor plate or mid plate, we have a kit for the Fox body for the 79 through 93 and the 94 through 04, and we do have motor plates for the 05 through 15 Mustang. So if you're thinking about switching to a motor plate and mid plate, we've got a kit for you. But typically, when you want to run a poly mount at 400 horsepower, that's not written in stone, but it's a good idea to start switching over to a solid mount after 400 horsepower. And again, it stops chassis flex, it stops the motor from rocking, and a poly mount will break pretty easily after 400 or 500 horsepower. So you really want to switch to a solid mount, and we have them in both the standard version and the 3/4 inch drop version. And one of the things that I highly recommend, if you are switching to a solid mount and you are using our K-member, please use our motor mounts. The other ones out there aren't designed that well. They do have pinch points, and they don't get your engine in the right location. We've taken all the thought out of it. We make kits for everything to work together with our parts. So if you'd like more information, check us out at www.teamzmotorsports.net or call into our tech line and talk to Frank.